Hi there. Welcome to another one of my Own Your Expertise interviews. I'm Emily Crookston, owner and decider of all things at the Pocket PhD. I'm the ghostwriter for Rebels, Renegades, and Mavericks, and I love helping experts with big ideas get those ideas out of their heads and into the hands of their fans. Today, I'm sitting down with EmilyMcGuire. Emily is the owner of Flourish and Grit, an agency that helps build and retain customer relationships with email marketing. Emily, thank you for speaking with me. Would you like to tell us a little bit more about who you work with and what you do?
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. Like you said, I own Flourish and Grit. We're an email marketing studio that specializes in customer journey. So we build really highly targeted email campaigns that follow people along their customer journey, nurturing them to the next stage. So that's my thing. It's all about relationship building, nurturing, and personalization. And I work with clients across all industries, but my specialty is e-commerce and tech and SaaS businesses.
Very cool. Yeah. And I think in those areas in particular, you'd mentioned the personalization being huge. And I think that that's so true because how often do you get an email from a company you bought something from and you're like, just another, just another email.
Exactly.
And so I could see how having that personal touch really makes a huge difference. So can you tell us a little bit about your path to becoming an expert? How would you describe it?
Well, I'm still trying to own the title of expert. That's a really weird one.
Yeah.
But really, I mean, it's really funny. Once you just start talking about one thing a lot, people are like, oh, they're an expert. And it's like,
Mhm.
oh, yes, I have lots of opinions on this thing. Uh,
Yeah, right. Right.
and lots of experience. I had to get comfortable talking about my area, right, my field.
Mm,
And the more comfortable I got, the more I did it.
right.
And then people were like, wow, this lady has a lot of opinions about emails, a lot of experience, a lot of lessons to share.
Mhm.
Let's talk more. So, I mean,
Yeah.
really, it's fascinating when you just, and you don't even realize you have
Right.
all of this experience, all of
Yes.
these opinions and perspectives until you start talking about them and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I just had to start talking about this. It's
Right.
terrifying though. It's
Yes.
terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's such a good point that there's a big difference between being an expert and having a job and doing your thing really well and starting a business and realizing, oh, now I need to be able to talk about what I do and explain to other people what I do and how I do it because that's what gets the buy-in. And I think you're so right that the expertise, like I love that you said it doesn't feel comfortable to call yourself an expert because I hear that from everyone I interview,
Yeah.
pretty much everyone I interview. And it's because you don't always step back and see all these amazing things that you're doing that make you an expert. And you don't always hear it from other people. You have to kind of step back and say, oh, I do have all these opinions and all of this experience that really can help other people. And I think that's kind of when the light bulb moment hits and you're like, oh yes, I am an expert. I can own it in this way. This is one of my favorite questions to ask. What is your die in a ditch belief? So for the audience, the die in a ditch belief is something you've thought long and hard about. It might be a little bit controversial, but it's something that you'd be willing to defend if someone pressed you on it. So what's your die in a ditch belief?
So yeah, revenue at all costs is not sustainable,
Mhm,
essentially.
mhm, mhm.
And I have worked for companies where revenue is king. And yes, it's really, really important. Got bills to pay.
Yeah.
I'm not denying the importance of money. But what I've seen is when revenue is the primary metric that you're gauging success off of, you're often not looking at the ways in which profitability is at play, right?
Mm,
And
mhm.
profitability means looking for opportunities that make processes easier so things get done faster and without errors, right? Because that takes time and money.
Mhm.
It also means looking at, what you might consider a winning campaign, as something that makes a lot of revenue, but you're not, especially when it comes to email, right? You're not
Mhm.
looking at the back end metrics of How many people did you lose from that campaign? How many people
Mm,
unsubscribed? Those are customers gone, right? Those are
right.
future revenue opportunities gone.
Mhm.
How many people actually purchased products that were profitable, right? Or
Mm,
placed orders that were profitable.
mhm.
And I see people get on the treadmill with email marketing that because they're making more revenue, that means that they need to be sending more email, or
Yeah.
email that brings in a ton of revenue. And again, great, so exciting. But there's so that revenue might not be leading to profits, right? You can
Yeah.
make more revenue year over year, but your profit stays flat.
Mhm.
And often you're not then looking for really strategic ways to save time and money and nurture customers so they stay around.
Mhm.
And we all know that retaining customers and returning customers are the most profitable customers you can have, right?
Right.
It costs exponentially more to chase new leads, but that's what
Mhm.
I see so many businesses doing, is chasing the new lead, that first
Mm.
sale,
Mm.
and not thinking about how they're retaining the more profitable sales on the back end, to nurture them in the future so you have those, right?
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, I'll die on a hill on that one.
Yeah. Love it.
A balance sheet
Yeah.
doesn't tell you everything. All quantifiable data needs to be qualified. Yeah.
Yeah. Revenue at all costs, fast way to be unsustainable. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Like, and what happens is you end up burning through the people you have who are
Mhm.
doing the work for you because they feel like they're just running on a treadmill
Yeah.
or a hamster wheel,
Right.
and you burn through your audience as well. You churn
Mhm. Mhm.
people, your employees and your audience, and then you're stuck just chasing more people, right?
Right.
Nobody
Right.
wants to be in that position.
No, yeah, that's so good. Yeah, love that. What would you say has helped you the most in learning to own your expertise?
I think it's just taking tiny, uncomfortable steps.
Mm.
Like I mentioned, just sharing my thoughts about and my experience about, my
Yeah,
field and my
yeah.
profession. That was terrifying for me.
Mm.
And I thought, like, oh, I'm going to put together these terrible, messy social media posts, emails for myself. Like, I could do email all day for anybody else, but like for
Right.
myself, it's a totally different story.
Yes.
And I found that the more I took these tiny little risks, the
Mhm.
more they built on each other, right? The more
Mhm.
comfortable I got, and the
Yeah.
more positive feedback I got. And that was shocking to me. I was like, wait, people like this?
Yeah, right.
They enjoy it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So it was
Yeah.
those tiny little things, one after another, really taking the good feedback and not dismissing it or
Mhm.
minimizing it,
Mhm.
and letting myself enjoy it. um
Cool. Well, Emily, thank you for taking this time with me today. I've really enjoyed the conversation. Can you tell people where they can find you online?
yeah, so I'm on LinkedIn. They gave me a free account, so very cool. So you can find me there. There are lots of Emily McGuires, so just look for Emily McGuire Flourish and Grit. You can also check out my website, flourishgrit.com, and I have a free guide that I like to offer everybody on how to boost your email open rates. You can find that at flourishgrit.com/open.
Cool. Thanks so much, Emily.
Thank you. This is great.